Hello, this is a video for the 1993 Cobra Detonator. Hopefully you'll be able to see that it is a rather large vehicle, and it actually has quite a large backstory to it, or at least the figure right here does. This is the Nitro Viper. I think it's kind of interesting that there's a Nitro Viper with the vehicle that came out for the Rise of Cobra. Can't seem to think of the name of it all the time. So Steel Crusher APV, I have not done a video on that yet, and I haven't really looked too closely at the file card on that figure either. But I thought that was kind of interesting that this is the Nitro Viper, and then they also reuse the name for the driver that comes with the Steel Crusher. So this figure originally was the his 2 driver, the Track Viper, and Nitro Viper, this repaint here. Actually, according to what I'm reading, it was the only figure in the whole line of G.I. Joe that never had its own file card. So that's kind of interesting, because I just can't think of why they wouldn't have done that. Even the ones that came out in 1994 still had file cards, so I don't know why they wouldn't have done it for 1993. But it says the Nitro Viper figure, the Cobra Detonator driver, was the only figure in the entire G.I. Joe 3 3/4 run released without a file card. And it says that a fellow collector, Michael Livanos, I'm assuming, is Livanos, created a file card, and it was officially sanctioned by Hasbro, so approved, which is a big step for Hasbro, because with most companies, they don't want to get any help from outside contractors or anything like that. They don't like to keep it in-house. That way they don't get sued, and they don't have to worry about paying royalties and all that. So, pretty cool that they did that. And they also did it on quite a grand scale, too, because it says that it was sanctioned and it was printed in the 1994 G.I. Joe Convention Special issue of Action Figure News and Toy Review. So that's quite a grand scale. So now we'll get on to the file card that Michael Livanos created for this character. It says Nitro Viper, file name, identities unknown, primary military specialty, detonator driver, secondary military specialty, demolition expert. Says Cobra detonators are the new elite tanks of the Cobra Armed Forces. They feature the latest in laser targeting, computerized global positioning, and smart missile technology conceived in Destro's armament factories. I like when they always put that, Destro and Mars and all that into it. The competition among track Vipers to become operators of the detonator is intense. Prospective Nitro Vipers are required to exhibit their ruthlessness by blowing up video game arcades and amusement parks, and it'll be interesting to find out what the new Nitro Viper file card says. Nitro Vipers enjoy blowing things up so much that other Cobra Troopers and Vipers give them a wide berth. And I had to look that up, and as long as I found the right meaning, berth is basically a lot of room, space, and that's just because you never know when these guys are going to find something that they just want to blow up, and so you don't want to be standing too close to these guys. It says the motto is, if it stands, we can knock it down. So, very interesting. Not only is that interesting, but then having to look up what the word meant and, meeting you guys and all the comments and stuff. It's really cool that all that comes from just these little plastic figures. So anyway, there's quite a bit of looks, hopefully, of the figure. And then we'll go on to the vehicle. It's really kind of tough to get too close on this thing, though. I noticed some people do customs, and one person that I saw did a custom on this, painted these kind of reddish to kind of look like blood and whatever. It has this gun in the front that swivels. It's got room for 16 figures on it, and we'll have to pick up the camera to show you that. So you would put one figure here and then one figure here, and then you also get 2 figures in the back, 2 in the back here, and then you would have the Nitro Viper would sit in here, and then you also again have 2 more spots to put a figure, and then we got a Frag Viper, I believe is what you call that guy. Then I've got one of the Krinsman, can't remember exactly, but I know he's a Krinsman Guard leader probably. And originally this probably was able to move, but after all these years and stuff, I think dust or something has gotten caught in them. But you can still use this to move it, but I think it would have been better if this moved, so then the gun looks like it was moving by itself. It's got room in the back for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, so that should have been a total of 16 spots. Another thing I noticed was a lot of people comment on how large these things are, and they're just commenting that if this was a realistic vehicle, how is somebody this size supposed to get one of these up here on the turret here? And again, I think that's putting a little bit too much thought into it, because you know, how are you going to explain what this is right there? So you kind of have to forget this was there, and you kind of have to not think about the size. But you know, maybe those that agree with that assessment, you guys can leave your comments on whether or not you see how they would get a missile like that up there, and whether or not you think that's a realistic thing, or if you guys even worry about that kind of stuff. I figure it's just a toy. The designers were just thinking of how to make this a fun toy, I'm sure. So anyway, I normally would have 3, but as you guys all know, I have a dog named Duke, and I have a feeling he probably got a hold of one of them, because I can't seem to find it. So, and I don't know why I wouldn't have it with it if it was still working. But so there's one here, and then there would be a third one on the other side, because they're held by these kind of claw-looking things, and they're kind of foam, so they just kind of slide in there. You just gotta kind of make sure these are laid that way so they fit on there correctly. And then you have the other one here that can slide all the way down, but if you're gonna fire this thing, you have to have it quite a bit up, because you want not to get stuck on this. You have to have it right there, so that when you push down on this, and again, it looks like my 10 minutes is up, so we'll have to go on to part 2. Alright.